Hey there, this is your pal Pally, and welcome back to Git Er Raid. I'm taking a look at PTR fights for the upcoming Siege of Orgrimmar. Final one for preview is the Paragons of the Klaxxi encounter. Bugs, bugs, and more bugs. Call the Orkin man. This one was tested quite a while back, and I lost the footage due to a hard drive crash weeks ago. So this footage is from heroic testing and not normal mode. However, much of the mechanics apply, and you can get a sense of the fight from it. The encounter consists of a council of Paragons. You will fight 3 of them at a time, and each one has individual mechanics to deal with, of course. It is probably going to be a 2-tank fight, maybe 1 depending on the combination of Paragons you get, but we'll see. 2 to 3 healable for sure. For general mechanics, the biggest thing to explain is just that pre-pull, 3 of the Paragons are marked with this Ready to Fight buff, and those are going to be the first 3 Paragons to come in. After that, one of the remaining 5 Paragons will be marked the same way to let you know who's coming out next after you defeat one of their buddies. Oh, and when you defeat a Paragon, all the remaining active ones will heal to full and gaining stacking 10% damage bonus. So cleaving usually won't matter here. One interesting twist is that once you defeat a Paragon, you can click on them to get a role-specific buff. I'll mention what buff each Paragon gives when I go through each of one in a second. Let's take a look at each Paragon and go into the strategy for handling them. I'm not going to even try pronouncing their names, but refer to them with the last part of their name. So I had Lucid, Locust, and Prime. Let's take a look at Prime. He's really annoying to your tanks. He will rear back and shield bash his tank, which stuns them, and then unleashes a vicious assault, which does a crap ton of damage for the next 6 seconds while the tank is stunned. It was unclear to me if either of these abilities were avoidable by moving or whatever, but as it stood, tanks got wrecked with this a lot. Prime is also a unique Paragon in that he will interact with the others in a very annoying way. Whenever he or any of the other active Paragons gets below 50% health, he will encase them in amber. If you don't kill off that amber shell quickly, it will heal the Paragon to full, thus wasting all of your DPS. In heroic mode, you see here that we can't attack the amber at all. In normal mode, this was not the case, and it was kind of an easy mechanic to deal with if you were ready to burst it down. When you kill off Prime, he will give the tank an ability to immune damage for 5 seconds. Now that's useful. Lucid is kind of complex. For the sake of time, I'm just going to basically say his main ability creates fire lines between a bunch of raid members. There are ways to figure out who it is, but the bottom line is, try to spread out pretty far when this goes out, and don't step on the lines. The further away people are, the less damage this ability does. Other than that, he casts Diminish on a regular basis, which knocks someone's health down instantly by a significant chunk. Make sure no one is really low, or this can kill someone outright. The Lucid buff is for healers, and basically copies heals to other raid members. Not too shabby. Locust is really kind of annoying. He will throw amber down on enemies, which are just big puddles to move out of. That's not really the annoying part. The crappy thing is when he charges around the room. If you get caught in his path or hit with it, you start whirling, which does a crap ton of damage to you and stuns you for 5 seconds. And if anyone else is near you, they will also twirl around and likely die. Just don't get hit and stay spread out so you don't inflict this on anyone else accidentally. Locust's buff when you kill him is actually kind of interesting. You get to jump up to the platforms and you can throw down amber just like the boss did and do a crap ton to the other active Paragons. One note, this is also one of the ways to break the amber shell from Prime on heroic. We never successfully got to this, but just a side note for the future. From here on, I'm going on dungeon journal descriptions and comments from other testers. Windreaver and Poison Mind actually interact a little bit. Each one will apply a debuff to their current tank that makes the other boss do more damage if the tank somehow starts tanking that other boss. Confusing, I know, but basically this forces you to have 2 tanks, 1 on each and never tank swap most likely. Windreaver does a similar attack to Prime in that he gouges the tank to stun him and then does a massive attack in Mutilate. Lastly, he will jump up in the air and land on an area and do a big chunk of damage, so just don't get hit with that. Similarly, his buff allows you to leap on bosses and do a bunch of extra damage as a DPSer. Poison Mine injects players with a toxin, either red, blue, or yellow. Then periodically, he'll inject the whole raid with another toxin that will mix with the one from the injection. It will do different things, and I won't really list it all out here, but basically red with red means spread out. Blue and blue, you need to stack up a couple players up to split the damage. Yellow on yellow creates a cloud to move away from. Purple explodes a ring of fire to avoid. Orange forces you to run forward, leaving a trail of fire behind you. Nice. And finally, green will create a wandering noxious cloud to avoid. His buff when you kill him allows your healers to put a living seed-like heal on someone. It stores up heals and then releases the stored healing once the target gets damaged. Manipulator adds some mobs to the raid, namely Kunchongs. These guys will focus whomever the manipulator mesmerizes, and if they don't take 30% damage before the person reaches the Kunchong, it will devour them, killing them instantly. If that happens, or the mob reaches 100 energy, it will molt, and will attack players with a big swipe that hurts a lot. The other mechanic for a manipulator is that he will send out a sonic wave. Just step away from it. His special buff is that he allows a DPSer to take control of their own Kunchong to smack around the bosses. Fun! We're almost done. 3 more Paragons to describe. Bloodseeker and Dissector also interact with each other like Windreaver and Poison Guy did. They put debuffs on tanks again that make them more vulnerable to the other one. So yeah, make sure that the right tank picks up the right boss. Beyond that, Bloodseeker is pretty simple. He will spawn some blood ads that just need to be killed quickly, or else they will head to a Paragon and heal it up. Kill them quick as they spawn all around the room. Bloodseeker buff is kind of like the Bloods, only it's the players that can spawn Bloods, and if another player walks through the Bloods, they get healed. So extra monk orbs for the win. Dissector is also fairly simple. He will inject players with a virus, and once they get 10 stacks, they erupt in parasites. These guys will feed on players until killed and regenerate very quickly. His buff will let a DPSer turn into a giant amber scorpion. It looks kick-ass and lasts for about 30 seconds. Yay, we're at the end. Swarmkeeper is the last Paragon to talk about. He will shoot around at people. His main ability is that he will select someone at random, stun them, knock them back until they are 45 yards away, and then fire a beam between himself and the target. If anyone gets hit by the beam, they make a field of sonic resonance that will do some damage. I never saw this, and there's some stuff about sharing damage, so I'm not quite sure if that means you want to get hit by the beam to share the damage, or just avoid the beam altogether. Sorry about no information here, but I'll know more when this hits live. His buff allows you to do like a power shot type thing where you shoot a shot at the boss. It's kind of a skill shot. It does more damage the further you are away, and if it hits, it increases damage taken by the target by 15% for 10 seconds. Phew. That's a lot of bosses and a lot of boss abilities. From some of the feedback, it seemed that some of the Paragons felt weaker than the others. You may just need to try and take down the stronger ones, or the ones with the more annoying abilities first, and get down to the easier ones for the end if possible. Beyond that, just pay attention to what bosses are out and deal with them. Thanks for watching, and please comment, like, and/or subscribe to the video if you found it helpful, and have a good one!